Ghosty fam, Amy here. Welcome to The Activity Continues, a podcast where three soul friends talk about all things paranormal. Ghosts, hauntings, psychics, movies and TV shows, especially The Dead Files, and other spooky and spooky adjacent things. We also like to interview people in the paranormal community, as well as past Dead Files clients and other interesting people. Sometimes we even tell your stories. I hope you enjoy the show. Well, welcome, Diane.
Yeah,
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Diane is the client from the Dead Files episode, Devil's Triangle, and that's the one that took place in the tattoo parlor in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So she's got some updates for us. Going to let us know how her life's been since then a little bit, and if the activity is still there, and yada yada yada. So that's what we're here for.
and then we'll just kind of see where the conversation flows, as we always do.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So far, it's been dogs.
This is the dog episode.
Yes. One of many.
Yeah.
One day we'll interview somebody who really loves cats. Okay. And then we'll be equal.
Yeah, that's okay. We can do that.
It's okay, Megan. We're equal opportunists here.
I know we are.
I love cats too. I just don't happen to have any right now.
They're the best.
I have a cat. I have a cat too.
I know you do. How does the cat like the dogs?
He's actually, so he's like a street cat that I adopted that like he's kind of messed up, like his eyes all messed up and his ears like clipped and stuff.
Buddy.
So I know but now he is a super fat house cat.
Nice.
And I was worried that he would like hide with the puppy and he's not. He's holding his ground. So he's like firmly planted. Yeah, he's good.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Was the ear clipped from when, because I know that they did that for a long time. They still do with cats that are caught and then they're notched so that they know that they're spayed or neutered.
Oh,
I believe so. Yeah.
Terrible.
No, it's
so
much
they
better.
don't have to catch them again. Like
or if people have barn
hurt their
cats or
baby ears.
it's a
I'm
very
sure they do it
it's a
while
very
they're
tip
under getting their
when they're getting
their-
spayed or neutered.
Okay.
Both my sister has two cats that are indoor outdoor mousers.
Okay.
And they failed in-home adoption and they were being but one of them spends the majority of the winter indoors because Gamora, Gigi, she does not like to be cold.
Same.
And she
right,
if you whistle, she comes to you and she loves to retrieve socks and she runs down the stairs and goes with her socks.
Yep.
I love the
funny.
tweets. Like PD hasn't done that a lot. He'll do it every once in a while if there's like a rabbit outside, but I love
We
them.
call them
those
the
tweets.
jabberjaws. The jabberjaws.
Yeah,
I love it.
like cackling kind of thing. Yeah.
Like that.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly
weird.
what it sounds like too.
Yep. Well, so you had alluded in the message to me.
Yeah.
I'm Amy, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Megan.
and I'm AP.
AP
Right,
is
there's
also
two
Amy,
Amys.
but she's AP, just to not be confused with me.
Right.
I was here first, that's why I get to be use my name.
She's
she
older
runs
too.
the
It's
show,
fine.
so she gets to pick her name. She
Fair.
wanted to be called Queen Amy for a bit, but we kind of drew the line at that.
Yeah, I know. I can't get my way every time.
No.
That wouldn't be fair. But you alluded to that things are different for you since the airing of the show.
Yeah. Insane. The show after the show premiered, my life fell apart and it's only me. Yeah, I mean, it was like, it's, you know, when you're like drawing tarot cards and you get the tower,
Yeah.
it was like it was the tower.
Oh.
So it was just like, it was in pretty quick succession. My marriage fell apart. Shannon decided that she wanted to leave the tattoo shop. Like no real explanation. I don't know exactly what happened, but she was just like, I don't want to own a business anymore. And then my dad died and then I left my husband. So it was just like a quick slide to like, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm
just
sorry
been
about your dad.
Thanks. Yeah. It's been like, it was just a lot all at once. So I was like, what? This all happened right after the Dead Files premiered. Is it? I'm sure it's not, but
Right.
it just
but it's
felt like
hard not
everything
to
was
make
like,
that
yeah,
correlation.
it's crazy because it just, I called or I emailed the show. They say call, but no one calls.
No, we don't call.
They're
What is
like
this,
on the phone.
1995?
Yeah, right.
What is
I'm
this?
like, God. I mean, I was scared in the shop and I emailed, because I love the good files and I wasn't comfortable in my own business. So it was, half of the shop was excited. The other half was like, what? So it was a little bit of a struggle to like get everybody on board, which everybody wasn't. Not everybody was in the show, but
well, and I'm sure because you also had to be closed for a couple of days while they did.
Yeah, it was a lot. I'd never been involved in a TV filming before. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of producers and just the whole show. I think there was like maybe 20 people in there.
Wow.
And like we have a decent sized shop. It's like 3,000 square feet plus some, but it's in separate rooms, so it's like everybody was jammed in there and there's like garbage bags on the wall because it's like hiding the shop.
Yeah.
So it was an adventure for sure.
Wow. Yeah. And what year was it filmed again?
It premiered 2019 in September. Yep. We filmed it in March, I think.
Okay.
We filmed it that same year.
Oh, and then of course, on top of everything else that you mentioned, kind of falling apart, we end up in a pandemic.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I was stuck. Yeah, all that stuff happened, and then the universe is like, you have to stay inside now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just talking about how like 2019 is 5 years ago, but 2020 is like 300 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. It feels like it's so long ago.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure 2008 was still like last year.
Yeah. And 1990 was 10 years ago. And don't you tell me any differently.
Yeah. I hate when people born this late. Oh, it makes me sick every time. I'm like, oh, you are 21 or you are 18.
They'll be 34 if they were born in 1990, which should be illegal.
Which is, honey, that's my brother's age.
That's illegal. Tell your brother he's illegal.
Illegal.
I mean, sure, he won't care.
No, he won't care. But it's wrong.
So do you have any like behind the scenes sort of stories about Steve or Amy or crew
or any records you want to set straight?
Yeah, like what did they get anything wrong?
I don't think they got anything wrong. I did I know for some reason it's strange after you film a ghost show, people think that you're making it up, which
of course.
I always have to say I asked for a reason. Like I was scared what the story that I told, like that we told were true.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that, I don't know. Everybody just doesn't believe you, I guess.
Yeah.
The producers everyone was very nice. Steve's actually a good interviewer. He kind of, I think maybe because I'm more of a passive person, someone that's more like, that's the tone helps for me. But he does ask leading questions sometimes, and it wasn't that I was cognizant of it really. It was just like I want to tell my story and I'm not trying to fabricate anything. So I feel like the leading is like pulling a thread on like, oh well, I guess maybe something else happened.
And it
I
can
remember
discredit your story too, because
but I remember
like,
you in that we made a few comments. Like I remember being like, she didn't follow his lead.
Yes.
Like you held strong to what you had to say, and that doesn't always happen. Especially like if you say you sometimes are more passive, but you're like, he tried to lead you down something, and you're like, no, or oh, what was it? It was did you feel like you were being mugged? And I know the three of us were sitting here going, who can relate to that?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in retrospect, I don't know. I felt like something was chasing me. I don't know.
It was just such a weird question to ask.
Yeah.
We've commented multiple times how we hate how he asks those leading questions. Like, you were a homicide detective. You should know better than to ask leading questions.
Yeah. A couple of the people were like, I told them my story and they were like, anything else? Kind of like, and they were like, was I supposed to like make something up? And I was like, no, but that's probably not uncommon that happens. So.
Plus, it can discredit you if they're like asking leading questions. People can be like, well, she only answered that because he led her into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of a lie. And I feel like lying is too much to keep track of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And when
That's
this
why most people
was
get
happening
Yeah.
as much as it was at yours, then you don't need to lie. Why would you need to lie?
No. And I
Right.
feel like, I mean, I honestly, every tattoo shop is haunted, but
Really?
like honestly, it's a meme, like the shop ghost, like
Oh,
everybody.
really?
I
I
think
did
it's
not know
just,
that.
yeah, it's just honestly, what I think it is a result of there's a lot of energy exchange when people are getting tattooed because it's high
Mhm.
stress or high, like, it's a
Okay.
lot of times it's therapeutic, or I think sometimes there's an imprint of energy that happens, and whether, wandering things are drawn to it or what happens, I don't know. But I cleanse pretty often, just
Nice.
just because it gets weird. It just, you get a weird vibe sometimes and you're like, ugh.
Huh.
So I think I think that's why it's common, and we all like creepy old stuff. So we're all like, oh, that building looks haunted.
fair.
Well, let's put a
You're
shop
in
in
a
it.
Yeah.
you're in a city that is much older than other parts of the country as well. And so some of the
Yes.
buildings and, have more of a history. We have a few we're all Twin Cities, Minnesota area. And there's definitely a handful of those buildings that are older and have some of those ties, or we have, there was a lot of the gangsters in the 1920s and 30s that came through this area. There's tunnels that they ran things through.
Yeah. We have tunnels too. It's horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yeah,
down
there's like the Nicollet
I don't
Island
wanna
tunnels. Like there's all
know.
these things that were used for bootlegging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's all sorts of stuff that ties up in there, but it's just a matter of sometimes it's, the energy that, as you're mentioning, is coming out of people, whatever it might be. For some, it's they're getting rid of their own demon in a way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you said,
And-
therapeutic cleansing,
Sorry, I have to put my phone on silent. The other thing that I wanted to mention, it's called the Devil's Triangle, but so downtown Pittsburgh, it is, if you look at a map, it's essentially surrounded by 3 rivers,
Okay.
and
Okay.
downtown is called the Golden
Oh.
Triangle.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So like when they called it the Devil's Triangle, I think that's probably more of like, that's where it came from, because not that there's 3 demons or anything like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's that it's the gold. It's referred
Yeah.
to as the
Well,
Golden Triangle.
It was Amy said when she opened in her walk, she called it the Devil's Triangle.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
Did she say she was hearing that?
Yeah.
Didn't she say, I'm getting Devil's Triangle? Like
Yep.
somebody was saying that to her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's triangle is pretty, but
Yeah.
Even if they're local demons, they probably know what we call it.
Yeah.
Well, and then also speaking of 3 waterways, that's a lot of energy that maintains.
Yes.
And I'm sure that the stone of the building, since it is an 1800s build, is going to have some limestone or other aspects in it that is going to hold record, as what we've heard over the years is those things hold energy.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely, the filming was great. Honestly, it went pretty smoothly. Steve, I was good.
Mm-hmm.
Amy was super sweet. But the producers like really gatekept her and made her sound very like, oh, you're not allowed to talk to her. Don't ask for, like, it was just it was a strange vibe, because it was like, what? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But once we met, she was completely sweet, normal, nice. Like, maybe some people get crazy. I don't know. But they definitely gatekept her pretty hard. So
I wonder how much of that was just not wanting her to, or not wanting you as the client or whoever the client would be to say anything to her that could lead her.
Oh yeah,
whatever
maybe
she would say in the reveal or something. Like, we don't want any, like, just like how they have to cover up things so that she doesn't see things on the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
wonder if it's partly that, because I don't see her as like a diva. Like, tell them not to look me in the eye.
She wasn't at all. It was
Yeah.
but the way that they built
Mhm.
her up, I was like, oh, is she like terrible? Like,
Yeah.
no, I love Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, everything's fine. Like once I met her, I was like, okay, she's who I thought she was.
Good.
But yeah,
that may play into part of, again, the reasons why she left the show. Like we've seen when those changes started happening.
Yeah.
And I know, Diane, you said that after your episode aired, you haven't really watched it since. And there is a definite change in demeanor and the way that the interactions happen.
Really?
Very much.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. It got bad at the end. Before
Especially
she left.
during the COVID times. When
Yes.
Oh, really?
You could
Now maybe I should go
definitely-
watch.
You should.
You
watch
should
it.
because you can tell the tension between them is
It's palpable.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Give me a soda.
Which is sad because
Yeah,
when
it's
you
true.
first start watching the earlier episodes, they work together and they're very like, this is my partner Steve, and you know, Steve is, during the reveals, he's always like so blown away by what she knows, and you can
Yeah.
just see it in his face. And then I don't know what happened, but it wasn't
Yeah.
good. And the way that when she left the show, the way that they portrayed
Handled
we
it.
were all so offended and so
Why?
upset for Amy because they handled it like they made it out to be like Steve got a phone call sitting in his car
On the way to a house to go
site,
and
yeah.
investigate.
I just got a call that let me know Amy's not coming back to the show, and that's all they did. And
It was
it's like,
really
what?
dumb. It's like,
It
no,
was-
Steve, we all know that's not how it happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's the reason that you guys have a show. So maybe be a little bit more respectful to, like, we were all very upset.
Who replaced her?
Cindy
Kaza,
Kaza.
who's
And she-
great.
Kaza.
Yep. She was
Kaza.
fantastic. And
It was
They
only
s-
like 4 episodes, maybe?
It wasn't a
well,
lot of episodes.
because it was the first 5 were with Amy.
But,
Then the 6th one before they took a hiatus to like kind of tease and I think drag the season out even further. So then
Oh.
the 6th one came out and that was with Cindy. And then the
Mhm.
last, so I think there were 7 episodes that were Cindy because it was a
Mhm.
12 episode
That sounds
season,
right.
12 or 13 episode season, something like that.
Yeah.
The last one we covered and then we can't go back to. If you want one that
Oh,
you're
no.
like, oh yeah, like you want to look at what you're like, how did this person get through to have, and it
The
wasn't
Britney
the last
episode.
episode, but there was a couple episodes in there that were like, how did this one make it through the thousands we know that they have?
And I
Yeah.
would arguably say our best episode is one that
It was because it was the
forgot-
3 of us together.
Yeah. And we forgot to record it or something happened. I think we
Yeah,
forgot
it
to
didn't record
it.
right. It only recorded like it only recorded. It didn't. The Zoom. We were doing Zoom because we were.
No,
sitting
we
the
were
room
in
together.
person.
Yeah.
Amy, it was your dad. Your dad made sure that we
I
didn't put
know.
that out
Yeah.
there.
And
We think
we
the
were-
ghost of my dad is messing with our text.
Oh, no.
sometimes.
we were drinking.
We were.
we-
There was
we had-
champagne,
We had a few drinks.
champagne cocktails.
And,
Yeah, and
it was hilarious.
It
but-
recorded, but it didn't record correctly, and
Yeah.
so the sound was really shitty.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
so
no.
we ended up not releasing it at all. But we also didn't
referenced
release
it a
it
lot.
because we raked that
Yeah, we
client
did.
over the coals.
Oh
because-
no.
It was
Was
we
a
had
trip.
nothing good to say about that client. Nothing.
So-
Because
She came onto the show basically, it seems like, to have her dad promote his book about her possession that he wrote.
Wow.
Yeah,
you
it's
should watch it. It's an
Something like that.
entertaining episode.
Watch it and then get back to us. Let us know what you
Let us know your thoughts.
Wait, which one? Which episode is this?
It was the
Which-
very last one.
No, it wasn't the
Okay.
last
No,
one.
it
It
wasn't?
wasn't. No.
Oh, you're
because
right.
The last,
That was the
last one was the Octagon
that
House
was
or
the
whatever,
Octagon House.
which
Oh,
also
yeah.
was another publicity grab.
It was called
Yes, it was.
Innocent something. Innocent.
Why would
I'll look
you
it up.
do
It was
that?
terrible.
I don't know.
It was terrible.
That's when we knew that they probably. Well, that's when we anyway were like, they're probably not coming back from
no,
this.
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like it was.
They
phoned.
just
there was a lot of
phoned in
theatrics.
Those last couple, not Cindy Kaza. Cindy was
No,
great.
no, she's
And
great.
none of it was her fault.
No.
In fact, there is suggestion that Amy recommended Cindy.
Isolated. It was the second to last one.
Isolated. Okay,
So you should watch it
you should watch it.
because it is
Interesting.
entertaining.
It is
I
entertaining.
have a
It's just not your.
my My best friend, we call them sad girl Sundays, but we always watch spooky shows.
Oh,
It's just
nice.
it's not really sad girl, but it's just
Yeah.
like we like hang out and eat snacks and watch trash TV.
That
So that sounds like a
sounds
good
amazing.
candidate.
Perfect.
Yes.
Now,
would
if you
be a
watch
good one to watch.
spooky shows, have you watched all of like the Mike Flanagan shows from Netflix? Like Haunting of Bly Manor and Hill
Yes.
House
what?
and
I
Midnight
really
Club.
Yes. So I really like the Hill House, but I think that's because Shirley Jackson.
Yeah.
Because the writing was just
Shirley
like
Jackson.
chef's kiss, like so good.
Mhm.
But then Bly Manor was okay. I didn't love
I
it.
loved Bly Manor, though, once you realize that it's a gothic romance. And I bawled in that last
Really?
I did
episode.
too.
Oh,
I think
if
I
you
was
go
still
back,
too sour, and I was like, ugh, romance. Like,
if you go in,
Ew, love.
I
You
recommend
suck.
rewatching it because if you watch the background, you see a lot of stuff happening that you don't catch the first time around.
Yeah.
Where
That's
Hill
in
House,
all of his stuff, I think, though.
but with
Yeah.
Hill House that has what are you throwing things at me now? Hill House that has like more of like in your face stuff. Bly Manor
Yeah.
is very like creepy in the shadows.
background. Interesting.
Like if you think about one of the major hooks that's in there, one of the things, if you go back and rewatch it, you see it happen and you're like, oh, I didn't catch that.
I liked Bly
Yeah.
Manor much more the second time I watched it. I was like you. I was
I
like, it
convinced her
was
to
fine,
rewatch
but
it.
it wasn't as good. But then Amy's talking about it, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch it again. And so my husband and I watched the whole season again, and I was like, okay, yeah, I am appreciating this a lot more now.
I think
Yeah.
because people were expecting Hill House season 2, basically.
Yeah.
Even though we knew it wasn't, it was the way that
a totally
it is.
different story.
Impossible.
But, yeah.
And Midnight Mass was fantastic.
Midnight Mass was
Agreed. I really liked his what was the Shining sequel? What was it called? I forget. That's what
Dr.
he directed.
Dr. Sleep.
Sleep. Yeah, I really like
Oh,
Dr. Sleep
I don't
too.
think I saw that.
He directed it,
Okay.
and you
He's
can
a-
tell, like, I
yeah.
really like it.
He's
I like
got
his
the next Exorcist movie.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's
Can you tell
very
Megan
exciting.
this is her favorite topic?
No,
Megan loves her some horror.
hate it. And my
She'll just be
husband
over in the corner
watches-
watching shark stuff.
Yeah, and Disney. My husband watches horror movies all the time. And I'm like, can you watch something that I can watch with you? Because I don't want to be scared.
Yeah.
And he watches the
not?
worst kind of horror movies, like the possession horror movies. And
Oh no.
I'm like, I don't want to watch that
Those are
because
scary to
it
me,
can
too.
happen. And I don't want to invite that into my life.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to watch those after dark. I set rules.
Yeah.
So
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
I like that you put that for yourself. Like I
yeah, I
don't
was
allow
like, because I
myself.
would start to like
Yes.
what's
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have
Yeah.
Schitt's Creek on as
Oh,
your
look at that
secondary.
beauty.
This is Wesley.
Hi, Wesley.
Yeah,
I
this is
do
my
like
baby
Schitt's
boy.
Creek.
But yeah, Schitt's Creek is a great
Palate
Palate
Like,
cleanser.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good palate cleanser.
You, David. You.
You know, she only says that once in the entire show.
Really?
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 Mhm. Yeah, I saw her on an interview. I don't know if it was Fallon or something, but she's like, yeah, somebody emailed us and said that I only say it once. She says like, ew, and David several times, but she only says, ew, David once.
Really?
Wow.
Uh-huh. I like saying best wishes to people.
Oh, I love that show.
It's a good one.
Okay, so back to the Dead Files.
Yeah, sorry.
Sidetrack.
So, so we have talked to some other clients who have said like when they watched the show, they were pissed because they were like, that is not what I said. That is not what I meant. And they re-edited it to make it make me look dumb or anything like. Was there anything like that?
There wasn't a ton. They did edit a couple things, but it wasn't anything. I want to say they made our Piercer Rev. They like cut two of his things together and it was weird, but it wasn't anything too crazy to me. It was definitely, the interviews are so long and it's like by the time, and you get asked the same questions over and over and it's like, I don't remember what I, like after you're done, you're like, what did I say that? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because it's, after doing it, I was like, I give much credit to anyone that has to be on camera for a living, like even newscasters. It's exhausting. But I think they did a pretty decent job with like patching through the story.
Okay,
The the deal with my ex-husband,
Mhm.
he did not want to be interviewed at all. And
You
you're
could
right,
tell.
he was a jerk. All your observations were pretty astute. Um, um,
I was like,
but
I
yeah,
want her to listen to what we said first before she decides if she wants
Yeah.
to come
no,
on, because
that's
she's probably
okay.
gonna hate us.
No, I was like, dang, where were these girls like 5 years ago? Um, yeah, but the producers leaned on me pretty hard to get him in,
Oh.
and he was like, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, just like, I thought that this would be good publicity for the
Mhm.
tattoo shop because
Yeah.
we opened in 2015. I'm like, this is like a cool thing that, would
Yes,
put
for
us on the
sure.
map.
Yeah.
The opposite.
Really?
Really?
Opposite. We had clients that would cancel because they were afraid of demons.
Oh,
Really?
no.
But you're like, wait,
Insane.
the demons are fine. They're fine.
Megan,
with
it's the same
us.
ones that walked out of Deadpool after 3 minutes.
Yes.
Well,
Yes. We were just talking about how Amy had seen the latest Deadpool, and all on TikTok, I'm seeing people up in arms about how blasphemous it is, and they walk out of the movie theater. And I'm like, what?
'Cause
What is it?
He calls himself Marvel Jesus in it.
And they
And
all
people
walked
walk out for that?
Yes. And I wanted to be
Wow.
like, had you not seen any of the other
Yeah.
Deadpools? In the first one, his girlfriend is doing him from behind. And that was
Yeah,
okay
right?
with you?
That's fine.
That's fine.
And the
Like,
It's
link.
usually how it is. That all the
Yeah.
sex and the murder and all that is fine, but you don't say
You do
Jesus'
not
name.
take the Lord's
No.
name in vain.
It's
Talk
so
about
funny.
Jesus.
But anyways, that's
I don't-
yeah. Well, that
That
stinks.
sounds-
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
Yeah,
and
that's too bad that it
Mhm.
actually lost
To me,
you
I'd be the
clients.
opposite. I'd be
I
like,
would
let's
too.
go get tattooed in the
actually, I'm
what
pretty
I
sure
mean-
we
shop.
said, "Hey, should we go travel to
Yes.
Pittsburgh?"
I know we were all like, we want tattoos again.
we
Let's
looked
go
at
out
we
there.
looked for you like right away to go and see like what kind of styles, because I know like, and I mentioned love the artwork and stuff, and like I saw some of your tattoos, and
Yeah.
to me, you have a very pin-uppy vibe, which I think is
Thanks,
just
man.
awesome. Like I think that's
Thanks.
just not everyone can pull it off. You
Mhm.
can. I
Mhm.
can't.
Thanks.
Mhm.
No,
I
no,
can't.
it was a lot of years of looking real awkward. So once that was done,
I'm
once that was
still
done,
in that phase though. I can't get out of it.
I'm
You'll
stuck
find
in
your look,
My
Megan.
pinup look.
You'll find it.
And they're like,
Um,
Megan looks real awkward today. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, some people, it was like, I honestly don't even, I had someone come in probably a month ago, and we get a lot of people traveling because we're in downtown Pittsburgh, and
Mhm.
hang on, my puppy is eating my phone cord. Don't
Oh
eat that.
no.
Don't
She
eat that
eats
puppy.
everything. She
Yep.
thinks it's a
Is she
toy.
teething?
Everything's a
Yes.
toy if she can reach it.
Yeah.
Flat
No.
rawhides are ones that we use a lot with teething. And a fun little tip is if you hold her and hold the chew toy while she's teething, you're bonding with relieving her pain. And so you get a
Ooh.
different kind of relationship with them.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
really
I use
good to know.
we get rawhides, and actually a lot of family friends end up with previously chewed rawhides from my dogs to start their puppies on,
Mhm.
because I'll get the rawhide rolls and they're always absorbed when
Yeah.
I get them, but they like to chew them down, and puppies always go for that over a fresh one every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, because it's like all like worn.
Yep.
Hang on one second, I have to put this
Mhm.
away because she's not gonna
Okay.
stop.
No problem.
Puppy.
I know they're so
I don't know if
cute.
I could handle
Oh my
a
God.
puppy again.
I am not sure what made me.
Well, she's cute
People-
as hell.
She's
He's
cute,
very
and there
cute.
it is. It's her
But
face with all
man.
the wrinkles.
It's a little, it's a little black dog face, because black dogs do get ignored in everywhere.
Here's Pete. Here's Petey.
Oh,
Here's my fat
oh,
kitty.
Hi, an orange kitty. I love
Kitty
orange kitties.
Pablo,
Hey,
what are you
Tab-Tab.
doing?
I had an
What
orange
a
kitty
handsome
once, too.
boy.
He's
He's
like, what are you
Mom,
doing to me?
excuse me, handler, what are you doing?
Oh, he is
He's
so
allowing it. My orange cat would never
He
allow
is
me to hold
so
him
No,
up like
he
that.
wouldn't.
He would have punched me in the face by now.
For sure.
He's real. He's very chill.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
Crazy,
Charlie would have
but chill.
meowed and
Yeah,
punched you.
orange cats are
and
crazy.
They are.
I didn't know that either until I got one.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
And
"What's
orange
wrong
cats
with them?"
are typically male.
Yeah,
Mhm.
most of the time.
Yeah, why is that? That's so crazy.
Although I have a friend
Coloration.
who has one that is,
Mhm.
it's a female, and we thought for sure that it was male. She got this little baby kitten, and we're like, it's probably male because most of them are, orange ones are. And she brought it to the vet, and she was like, nope, it's not a boy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Nice.
calicos are female, but you can
Mhm.
have kind of the calico, but with more of a white body. That's going to typically be male.
Interesting. You're like a cat whisperer, all the kitties.
My background is science, and I have a lot of random facts. I was brought
Yeah,
on as a
Science,
fact
and you
checker.
like ghosts?
I know. It's an oxymoron.
I
I've
like
had
it.
enough of my own experiences.
Yeah.
They have calico snakes that are pretty.
Calico snakes, you said?
Mhm.
I heard
Like ball
steaks, and
pythons.
I
now
heard
I'm
steaks
hungry.
too,
No,
and
I
I'm like,
Snake.
what?
Ball pythons. They're very pretty. But I
Oh,
think
okay.
I've found out that my husband is afraid of snakes, and so there goes my
Oh.
dream of letting my son have a snake.
Oh.
I thought
Because
that meant that you get a snake.
I
I
was
thought-
going to say, I
Yeah.
thought that meant his soft spot. So
Yeah. I think snakes. I actually almost got a snake about 12 years ago. I almost got a Brazilian rainbow boa, but then I moved to the Middle East, and that was not conducive
Not
to
gonna
snakes.
happen.
So
You can just go visit the ones at the center.
I know I could. Do they let you hold them?
No,
Well,
you can touch them when they have them out, but
mhm.
no.
What kind of snakes do they have?
Sorry, this is the Wildlife Science Center up in Minnesota
Stacy,
here.
Minnesota.
They have it's a conservation, training, research, and education center.
They have
and
wolves.
they have lots of
You
wolves.
can watch the wolves eat the
Oh,
deer.
that's cool. Whoa, I
Mhm.
didn't. Ew.
Yeah, they get roadkill.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
they sure tell you how weak you feel when it takes two of you to drag a carcass in and one of them just picks it up and walks away
Yeah.
with it, and you're like, okay, thanks, guys.
Yeesh.
But yeah, mainly there they have mainly Minnesotan or
Okay.
upper Midwest snakes.
Yeah.
So there's hognose, corn snake. They have hognose and corn snakes.
Mhm.
And I think the corn snakes, they have ones that one had babies and had
Mhm.
like all of them were different colors.
Oh my God, that's so
Ooh.
cool.
Or no, it was the milk snakes. It was the milk snakes. One of them. But they had like an albino one. They had a red one. They had
A
all the different colors.
A
rainbow.
rainbow brood.
Even
Mhm.
the
Sounds
snakes
awesome.
are allies.
And a tarantula.
No, thanks. And we're done.
Conversation over. Anyway,
Yeah.
Diane, have you always been like sensitive to seeing things like before you had the tattoo shop? Did you see stuff when you were little?
Yeah.
Do you have any stories like that?
I actually grew up in a haunted house.
Ooh,
So
What? And we're
yeah.
just learning about this? That should have been your lead-in.
I think her being on a show was the lead in, Megan.
Well, I mean, after that.
I mean, I don't, you don't talk about this stuff to everybody.
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
but yeah, my mom and I think it's the guy that built her house, in the 20s.
Mhm.
My mom always called him Harry. So I
Okay.
don't know if that's his name or not, but he had just always been, he would always do stuff growing up. And we always had I would always talk to him and I'm like, Harry, I don't care if you're here. I just don't ever want to see you. Like,
Oh,
don't ever show yourself to me. But yeah, he would always make things disappear or, my mom was a seamstress, so she was always cutting out fabric in the middle of the living room, which was like a big space. And she would set the scissors down in the middle of the room and turn around and they'd be gone.
oh,
And she would be like, "Oh, am I going?" She'd be like, "Oh, Harry, put him back."
Yeah.
And they would put him back. So
wow.
it was that kind of. It wasn't.
Mhm.
He was just hanging out. It felt like. So it wasn't really.
Malicious.
No, not malicious at all.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
But I think I've always been kind of sensitive to it. I've always been into it. I remember in junior high, I wanted to be a parapsychologist.
Nice.
Who would have
That's
thought?
cool.
Who would have thought something would be worse than an English major, which is what I did major in.
As a fellow English major,
Yeah.
most
Yeah,
useless
everyone's like,
degree
"Oh."
ever.
I thought it was good. I paired mine with graphic design. It's worked pretty
Oh,
well
see
for me.
that?
Yeah, that
came out well
useful
for you.
skill.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I've always been into paranormal stuff, open to it, and
Mhm.
I oh my God, it's free. My dog is the worst. I I don't know. I've had lots of weird experiences. My sister, I had a sister that passed away, and she owned a bar that we found out later used to be, I think, a whorehouse because
Okay.
it was near an older busy road.
Yeah.
And upstairs was an apartment, and I remember I was sleeping. I stayed over a couple nights, and I would wake up in the middle of the night and it was pitch black, and the only thing in that room was like a big digital like red clock.
Ugh.
And I would wake up and like look at the time, and then I would see something like pass in front of the time, and I would just do the like scared kid, like I'm just gonna close my eyes and pretend that I didn't see that. So I don't know whether, it's just, I guess if you're open to it, you get lots of experiences like that. In the tattoo shop, we opened that. I opened it with my husband, or my ex-husband, Josh, and Shannon. We all opened it together. And it wasn't old. Previous to us being in there, it was Traveler's Aid, which is like they help homeless people with like bus tickets and stuff like that. So we tore everything out and redid it, and everything was okay until we tore through that second floor. And that's when the weird, I'm sure it's not the same, but there used to be apartments, and there used to be this crazy old veteran guy. We called him a Vietnam vet. I don't know if that was like his age range, but he was just insane. He would just scream at people. He had he was in a wheelchair. I don't think he had legs, but he couldn't, it was upstairs. So like he would essentially come down once a month, and he never really left the apartment. And then he passed away, and it's like, I don't know if it was the same ghost, but it sure felt like it.
Yeah.
It sure felt like someone was like, what are you doing? And this is my place. And he would just like chase you out. And it just didn't, that last time that I went there, I'd never been maliciously chased by anything like that. I've definitely had like the heebie-jeebies or like the, I'm getting out of here kind of thing. But I never really stuck around long enough to get an experience, because why would I? But I was like, this is my business. Like I could be here. Like I was there on a Sunday setting up a desk, like for me to work at. And I just kept getting this like feeling that someone was standing there and just like hating on me. And I'm like, this isn't, like, it just kept making me more and more uncomfortable. And I would go downstairs and grab something and like continue to work until I was walking to go back downstairs again, and a shadow followed me. And I tried not to panic, and I kept walking, but I kept seeing the shadow following me. And I was like, that's enough. That's enough. Like I just got my shit, and I set the alarm and left. And even then, like before we called them, now I'm perpetuating the lie. Before we contacted them, like we would have alarms go off. And I remember I'm always downtown early, so like the alarm would go off at like 7 or 8, and I would have to walk through the space by myself. And it was like I was more scared of a ghost than of like an intruder. So it was really stressful to not feel comfortable to walk into your own business. And that's why I just needed to do something about it. So,
well, plus you spend so much time there. I mean, you want to be comfortable in a place that you're going to be most of the days there.
You just dumped all your money into something, and like you're praying that it works, and you're like, and I also don't feel comfortable. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. And as owner, you spend a lot more time there than someone who just works there.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, not as much lately, but the first few years, it was just like, you're just like, I hate this place. Like I'm here all the time. But you love it. I mean, it's like your baby. So it's kind of, hold on again. Sorry.
No,
all right.
Fine.
Please stop.
Puppies.
Bracelet.
Oh, bracelet.
She found a bracelet in a plastic thing that she thinks is, I'm sure she's going to destroy something else next. So yeah, the experiences, and honestly, downstairs, I know that Amy said that downstairs there were demons and stuff like that. The downstairs it could get uncomfortable downstairs, and there were tunnels, there were blocked over tunnels we didn't have access to. The building next door to us does.
Okay.
But I don't know. It was just like a random, like sometimes the basement's fine. Other times it's like, no, like I hate it down there. So I don't think, I mean, I cleanse pretty often and we did follow, well, her instructions, we followed as best as we could. I did not get a male medium. I ended up working with a woman that clears properties, and I talked to her first, and she's like, well, I'll tell you what's there, and I'll get rid of anything you don't want there. I can clear out. And I was like, okay, good. Like, so it was essentially like a one-stop shop.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So she's like ripping my shopping bags now.
Oh,
oh, I love puppies.
I know. Oh, she's so cute.
She's like, I love you, Mom.
Yeah. She's like, these are all mine, right? So she ended up clearing the space out for me, and she does it. She doesn't have to be in person to do it. She is local. She is in Pittsburgh. I'll periodically have her check my house. A couple years ago, it was after I was separated. So it was the first time I'd lived alone in 20 years. And I was falling asleep, and something touched my forehead.
Oh my God.
And like, when you're like half asleep and you're like, did that happen? And it did. I was like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
And I contacted her, and she said that it was a child spirit that was lost, that was looking, that was confused and just trying to like connect and figure out like where she belonged, and I was like, that makes sense, because that's like a total kid thing to do. Like, I'm just gonna touch you, just like,
yeah,
and then sit there and stare at you.
Yeah. So like
until you wake up.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, did that just happen? And then you tell yourself like, no, you jumped it for sure. But the next day I was like, that happened.
Yeah.
So I essentially just email her and I say, listen, can you check my house? Can you check the tattoo shop? Yeah. And she'll do a scan of it and get rid of what's
nice.
Bugging us.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's been like a godsend for sure.
Great.
But yeah, we did cleanse. We cleansed the Amy was really helpful with her instructions to cleanse, and I wish that they would cover that stuff in the shows, because she gives like, she's like, here's, do you have to do this and like cleanse this many times, like a prescription, like a doctor's prescription. But she went to a metaphysical store. She bought me cascarilla, however you say it, that chalk stuff. She bought us a couple of things of sage. She bought us a little bell, just a bunch of stuff.
That's really sweet.
And she was like, make sure that you protect yourself, like do this with this. And she was very sweet and very like wanted to make sure that we, had what we needed, and wasn't just like, here's a list of stuff to buy. She went and bought it.
Yeah.
So it was like, she was super sweet.
Yeah, like she didn't need to do that. She could have just given you the list and been like, this is what you need. Okay, bye.
Which is what we've heard from several people, is that like she's been very helpful, or like one group was able to stay in contact with her and get some other like care beyond. But that seemed to be another reason why Amy may have left the show, allegedly reason. Was that the care that she was wanting for people wasn't being
like
she couldn't help as much as she wanted, and they weren't necessarily providing
follow-up wasn't great.
Follow-up with the clients.
She would recommend stuff, and then the producers would just be like, see ya, allegedly.
They were even the follow-up, I think they were just like, just do some films and like tell us what's going on. I'm like, okay. they didn't really give much direction. They just wanted to follow up. I do feel like I don't understand why they would what she did and like how tender and like understanding and patient she was with us as she explained this stuff was like, I feel like the best part. Like it's like someone like, and I feel like I wish that they would have conveyed that. I'm sure it's not, as Hollywood as they would want it to be, but that was the most, this stuff is about connection and I felt like Amy probably wanted to connect with more people and they were just like gatekeeping her. I don't know. Maybe she didn't, but it just felt like she had a genuine interest in everyone's well-being.
Yes.
And I think
I believe she does.
That's what every person we've talked to has said, that we haven't heard one bad thing about her. And I think that's why she started the show and why she agreed to do it was she wants to help people.
She wanted to help people. Yeah.
And
I'm sure it became something that she didn't want.
Yeah.
It's exhausting for her. I mean, it takes a lot out of her.
Yeah. A lot of it was her health. But also she just wasn't being treated respectfully.
No, she wasn't. And you can, again, see that in the later episodes.
Which doesn't make sense because it's essentially her show.
Yeah. You would think. Right.
Well, I think someone else thought it was their show. So
yeah. That makes I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I didn't get to meet Amy till the reveal. Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard that is pretty much the standard there.
Yeah.
And then those are fairly long and edited down to 15 to 20 minutes.
Not even like 5 to 10 minutes.
How long was your reveal? Do you remember?
I want to say it was like we were down there for almost 2 hours.
Okay.
We did it in the basement and it was a lot of hurry up and wait kind of stuff.
Oh.
It wasn't a quick thing. It was like it was supposed to start at I want to say it was supposed to start at like 7, but then it didn't start till later. And then it was like just a bunch of waiting around. And we did in filming, obviously, but it wasn't like climactic, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the sketches are always disgusting.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. When they show the sketch, they just show your face and beep. Do you remember what you said?
I probably said, "Oh fuck." That's fine.
We were trying to guess. We were like, either she said shit or she said fuck.
Yeah.
I probably said, "Oh fuck." Just guessing because I don't remember exactly. Or I could have said like, "Oh man," like I don't know.
They wouldn't have bleeped that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I probably said, "Oh fuck." I did listen to the podcast and you guys said there was a lot of swearing. That was probably our fault. We swear a lot.
So do we.
So do we.
Yeah. No, we were dissing on that. I just thought it was funny that like even Amy and Steve sweared more than
sweared
usual.
more.
Sweared. I was like, that's not the right tense of that word.
Yeah, I think Megan called and she's like, well, why won't they just not bleep it? Like it's on Max.
Yeah.
Just because it was on Travel Channel first.
Well, it's not anymore. So unbleep the bleeps.
Yeah, right. I would say I probably was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sketch was creep.
The sketches are always just horror fodder.
Yeah. Well, not always.
Not always. There's somewhere.
Some of them are
hilarious.
really interesting that you're like, how does that go to what she said?
Especially when they're like, Amy, is that what you saw? And she's like, yes, that's what I saw. It's like, that's what you saw?
What was that like the 5th drawing that they had to do? And they're just
and she's like I just want to get it.
And she was like, I just want to go home. It. Fine. That's what I saw.
Yes. Fuck. What? I don't know, Dave. Yeah. Just draw something.
I offered when they came in, I was like, listen, because the sketches were always like my favorite part of the show. Because like you're like, oh man, is this gonna be
They're
terrible?
So jarring.
Yeah, they're always like in charcoal. I'm like,
yeah.
But I
see somebody with like an easel set up with like their oil paints and like Bob Rossing it up.
Don't touch, it's not dry yet.
Oh, that's not a mistake. It's a happy accident.
He's like,
we'll make him do a ghost.
That's not it.
Wipe, start over.
I quit. Yeah.
I asked them if they needed a good artist, and they said no. So I mean, and thankfully they did have one, but I was just like, oh God, we cannot have a terrible sketch artist.
Yeah.
We actually interviewed a sketch artist from the show.
Really?
He was a good one.
He was
really? That sounds like that's like that's like court reporter, but paranormal style.
I know.
Like,
I know. He was really fun to talk to.
He was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his art was really good.
Yeah, and if I remember, his was just like, didn't they like call him or email him kind of out of the blue because they look up artists in the area.
Yeah.
And
he was
his
they
website.
They
or his
found
Instagram or something.
And so then they contact off of that.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Do you want to be an artist on the Dead Files?" And he was like, "Sure."
What's that?
Yeah. Yeah. Does it pay? Sure.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's the other thing. People all thought that we made money off that. I'm like, no. I was like, we probably lost money because we had to film like 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
But
so was there any one of your artists that was like, this will be really interesting, or somebody that was maybe, I know you said not everybody was on board, but were there ones that were a little bit more like, yeah, let's figure this out?
Yeah, I mean, so Shannon, Susie, Rev were all pumped, because Shannon and Susie were, I mean, they're tattoo artists, everyone's in the creepy stuff,
right?
Shannon and Susie were more supernatural. Yeah, right.
God,
I mean, that is a stereotype, but sometimes it is true.
Yeah, sometimes, but not all of it.
But I feel like he really played into it. Like
he for sure. I think that's just like weird male machismo kind of like, ooh, tough. Like I'm tough too.
I got a tattoo. I'm a badass.
Yeah. Right.
I've met too many of those people. Like it must be Rev that you keep talking about. I can kind of picture him, but just like they give kind of that teddy bear aspect once you break past that like hard exterior.
Yeah, right. That's the other reason is a lot of I mean, I guess you could compare to some people, I'm heavily tattooed, but someone like Rev who's very heavily tattooed, you have to be somewhat defensive because people are pretty judgmental off the bat.
Oh my God, I know.
That's what I was trying to like get through is like, Steve is putting that bias out there that all these guys are just always hard and tough and mean.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the amount of times that I get judged for this.
Why?
I'm kidding.
I'm like, what?
I'm being sarcastic. All I have is a little
you have a start of a sleeve. What are you talking about?
It's the start of a sleeve.
Mine's on my leg. I won't show you.
Yeah, I have another one on my leg.
My leg doesn't go up that high.
Well, it does, but you might get stuck in that position.
I'd have to be laying back.
Okay, this is a family show.
Is it?
No, it's not. It's
no, it's not.
I mean, everybody at the shop is a decent human being. I mean, it's changed significantly. We went through some rough times after everything happened with me and with COVID. And right now, I feel like we have the best crew we've ever had. And it's just
that's awesome.
It's going to be 10 years in January that I opened the place up. Yeah.
That's great.
That's
crazy.
Exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting, but also like I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's cool because it's like it's long. I don't know. I guess it goes fast when you're always busy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's really awesome.
The vibe in the shop is just like, I'm so grateful for everybody. Like I go in there, I used to go in dreading it and like just thinking like, God, like I'm uncomfortable there. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Now it's like they almost lift me up. Like they support me. It's just that everyone there is just amazing and
That's
kind
awesome.
and great people. So, and then one of the people that you didn't interview, Aaron, is actually he's my business partner now.
Oh,
okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's been a huge change, but for the better finally.
And you've survived.
Sometimes you have to go
10
through
years.
You have to go through all the yuck and muck before you get to that spot where you're like, this is where I was supposed to be.
Yeah. And it just, you don't realize it sometimes is a long journey, but it's we're at a good space. We're at a good spot right now,
Good.
I think.
Good.
Good. I'm
Good.
happy to hear
Well,
that.
congratulations.
Yes, on
Thanks.
10 years.
10
That's
years.
wonderful.
Yeah, congrats.
Soon. Not yet, but soon.
So,
He's a puppy.
And just a little puppy face. I just want
She keeps.
to bite her face.
I know. I want to grab her little cheeks.
You
go like
probably
this.
should because she keeps biting my face.
All of my dogs have had their ears bit by me.
Yeah.
And growled at.
My niece does that. My niece did that. Arthur had a biting spell for a while, and he likes to bite like your boobs or your thighs or like anywhere.
Very needy.
You're like, come on, man.
They're very needy.
What kind of dog is Arthur?
He's a Shar-Pei too.
Oh,
Okay.
I'd be like, at least buy me dinner first. Like,
Yeah, right.
come on, buy me a
But
drink.
yeah, the one time
something.
my niece bit him back, and
Good
she
for
said
her.
he looked at her like, "What?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's
can
what
do
that
that?
feels like." And then he really didn't bite again. So
Oh, nice. There you
Good
go.
for her.
yeah,
You don't do it to hurt them, but that's what mom or other older
Oh, the
dogs would
correction
do.
nibble.
Mhm.
Yeah. yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
worked.
Good.
That's good.
Yep, all of mine have had that at some point in time, and they all look at me like, "What are you doing?"
That's the best look when you're like, "Yep, that's right."
You heard me.
Yep. Well, I do a lot with Wesley right now when he barks at things or people. He sees I'm on a downstairs level, but from here I can see straight out to the street, but we're like ground level right here. And when he can see out and he barks at everybody, I'm like, they're allowed to be in their backyard.
Mhm.
He's like,
Yeah,
okay, mom, but did you know that they're here?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, they're allowed to be there. Okay.
Just letting you know. I'll
Just
watch
let
them.
you know. Yeah. In case you didn't know, the neighbor came home from her caribou run.
yeah.
Mhm.
hmm
Yeah. They're always barking at my neighbor when she comes and goes. And I'm like, I know she has the gall to come in and out
Also-
like she owns the place without checking
Rude.
with you guys first.
As if she lives there.
As if she lives there.
Caribou is Minnesota's Starbucks. It's
Yeah,
only
we
in-
have Caribou.
Oh yeah,
Do you really?
Caribou's
I've
in here.
asked my friends in New York and they didn't know what it was.
It's not in every
Yeah.
state, but it's all
I
more
don't-
places. Now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I know we've had one before. I'm not sure if it's current or not, but I've definitely been to Caribou.
Oh, well, now I look like an idiot.
No, you
No,
Okay.
I love all coffee places, so
Yeah.
Can't
I'm
go
a big
wrong.
Tim Hortons fan, and we don't really have any Tim Hortons, which makes me sad.
I've
We
never
had
been
some
to
and
a
then they
Tim
closed them
Hortons.
all. I think they closed all their. Didn't they close all their United States Tim Hortons?
Maybe.
There's
was-
there's
a
some in
Canadian.
Detroit.
Okay,
I was gonna
well,
say
I'm
there
done
was
talking.
a new one just not too terribly far from me off of Rice.
Is it still open?
Last I went past, it was.
Oh, I thought they closed all the ones in Minnesota.
Well, I'm just.
How dare they?
How dare.
Tell me about
I've never
it.
been to one, so
They had
Oh,
the
I love
best
it.
donuts. They left us
Ah.
with Dunkin', which like
I love
I mean,
to.
it's
I love.
good,
I'm a
but not.
I'm a gas station coffee girl, so that works for me.
But
I-
it's not
you know
a Tim
what?
Horton donut. Like
gas station donuts
Yeah.
are pretty good.
they are. No gas. I'm talking
Just
about
don't go with-
Dunkin'.
I know.
Just don't go with gas station hot dogs or sushi. Like those are
Yeah.
you're rolling the
Or
dice.
hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah,
because
hard-boiled eggs. Megan
that
got
was-
sick on those.
That is not a good idea.
I would not do eggs or sushi, but I would do a hot dog. Those things have been spinning around on there for decades.
All the
There's
bacteria
nothing in there.
dead.
There's
Yeah.
nothing. It's all
There's-
dead.
That's
There's
that's
nothing gonna
actually
kill
the
ya.
secret fountain of youth.
Yeah,
Gas station.
Probably.
Probably not even real meat. I mean,
No.
let's be real. So
There's no meat in that meat.
there's no meat.
No. Nah.
Yeah, there can't be.
Well, is there anything else you would like to tell us? Any stories you want to tell, or anything that you want to make sure our listeners know about your episode or about you?
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just that there aren't like demons hanging around in our shop. It's very chill and very cool. Like
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually don't even when people come and ask like, "Oh, do you guys have ghosts?" I'm like, "Nope."
Nope.
Yeah.
Because I don't engage with it anymore only because
Mhm.
I don't want to bring it all up. I also had a terrible review from the show that I had to fight Yelp to remove it.
Oh my God.
Oh my god.
It was like some I want to say I think it was a guy, but he was like, this is you guys are fakers, you make stuff up for a popular, like it was this
Mhm.
rambling Yelp review and it was 1 star. and I kept flagging it, and it was so embarrassing because we don't have that. We have a ton of Google reviews, but maybe like 40 Yelp reviews, so it's pretty high.
Yeah.
They were like, no, it's a valid review. I'm like, he didn't get tattooed. Like,
no.
Yeah. So someone reviewed us on Yelp from the show and called us liars. I was like, rad.
Wow.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
You know, that Chad really should just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah. That's like the reviews that you're like, are you okay, friend?
Yes.
Is your life okay?
Like, do you need a hug, maybe?
You know
like,
what? You know what it was? On? It was the Devil's Triangle demons who were like, we're not really there, guys.
They were bored.
They were bored.
Yeah.
At least they didn't burn it down, right?
Yeah, at least they didn't burn it down.
Now they just leave terrible Yelp reviews.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever watched the show? Have you ever watched the show Ghosts on CBS, either the UK version or the American version?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in the American version, there's one who can type on the keyboard or on the phone or anything, but it's like one letter at a time. I'm just picturing a set of street demons going like, come on, we've got the whole thing. Okay, guys, just give me. And he's like, A.
Took him 3 days to write the review.
Took me forever.
That's why Yelp won't take it down.
Yeah.
They know it took him.
They're like,
I
know that
they finally did. They finally did.
Good.
I was like, come on, dudes. You can do it. But yeah, it's been an interesting ride for sure. And maybe I might actually watch Dead Files again. I didn't know about all that, what happened, but it's sad that Amy left because I feel like she was definitely the most human part of that show.
Yeah. She was really helping
very
people.
Sad. But Cindy is great too.
Cindy was great. Yeah, Cindy was great. But it's all been canceled now. So
yeah.
And if you go on any chat anywhere, you'll get about 15 people asking where Amy went.
What happened to Amy? Where's this Cindy chick?
And when is it coming back?
Who's Cindy? Why? So then where did Amy go? I've started responding with troll answers like,
oh my God, Megan has made up some really funny ones.
she got abducted or she went to become a chicken farmer or, like, because if you do a 5-second Google search, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
It would be easy. It would be quicker to Google search than to go into Facebook and write the post.
Yeah.
It's just me. My parents went on just a long weekend a couple of weeks ago. My dad was riding. He was being his passenger princess self. He was trying to look something up on Google, like how to get from Brussels to Bastogne or something like that. But he texted the group family chat.
Oh no.
So I just wrote back, in a car. And a couple of, like, one of my brother wrote something back too, and my dad's like, I meant to type that in Google. We're like,
clearly.
That sounds like something my mom would do.
That's a Barb move, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a Barb move for sure.
Oh,
that just unlocked you telling people that they just need to Google. Maybe they think they're Googling.
Yeah,
they're just waiting for Google to yell the answer at them.
Yeah. Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves.
Oh God. Oh my God. You should reply to that. Should be your comment now. What happened to Amy? I don't know. Ask Jeeves.
Who the hell is Jeeves? Why won't he answer? Is Jeeves a moderator?
Yeah, Jeeves a chat GPI.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, Diane, thank you so much. We really appreciate
Thanks for having me.
Taking the time and chatting with us and showing us your puppy and your kitty.
Yay.
Yes.
Thanks.
It's lovely to meet all of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
It was.
Yeah. Well,
if you
I just
guys
sent you an
questions.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Okay. I can't think of anything else right now. We went through my list and I asked them all. So
yeah.
There's something else I wanted to tell you guys.
Okay.
The oyster house.
Yes.
The oyster lunch.
Yeah.
So the oyster house is a bar. So if you had oysters for lunch, you probably had a liquid lunch.
That makes more sense.
That makes more
that makes a lot more sense.
Okay, that does make a lot more sense because
so the oyster house is in down. Yeah, it's a bar. It also serves great fish sandwiches and oysters and seafood in general, but it is mainly a bar.
Okay, because I'm like, who the fuck is like, you know what time it is? It's time for some fucking oysters at lunch.
Which would explain getting into a fight right after lunch.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Right.
not
Where
paying
you
his
die.
tab.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes
Yes.
that they should have included that because I was fucking confused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, who does that? Who's like
yeah.
eating oysters and like
We had a
fighting
5-minute
people?
We
discussion
still
on
talk
it.
about it. Like I will still bring it up to
Yeah,
the point of
yeah.
like, oh, let's go eat some fucking oysters at 1 p.m.
He probably ate like 1 oyster and 10 beers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That does make so much
okay.
more sense now.
That makes a lot more
Yeah.
sense. I'm
Thank
glad
you
you
for
cleared that
that.
up. And
Yeah.
now going out to the bar will forever in my mind be let's go get some oysters.
Yeah, yeah. It's
As
a
it
good
should
cover,
be.
right?
Yeah. We're gonna go get some oysters.
It's
for
just
lunch.
like
But see, I would have been like, the fuck are you doing oysters for lunch? That
Yeah,
is like
our
a
campus-
nighttime meal.
every campus
Oyster.
that has the library bar nearby because you're going to
Oh,
go
yeah,
study at the
'cause you're
library.
going to the
Oh,
library.
yeah.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
a very Midwest thing, but
Yeah.
like every small town has a library bar at some point in time.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
It
When
is
I
a
was in
good
college,
idea.
I studied. I wasn't drinking. That's illegal.
Have you
Yeah.
been catching up since then, or what?
Yes. No.
Yes. No.
I did drink a lot. I went to a school in Wisconsin. Come on.
Of
you
course
have
you
to.
drank a lot. Scotty.
Yeah.
It's Wisconsin. Thirsty Thursdays.
Oh, it's Tipsy Tuesday, Wasted Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Forget Friday. There is no sober Saturday though.
No.
I think it was like Slosh Saturdays or something like
And
that.
then there's Recover Sundays.
And I don't think
That's
Monday
Sunday
had a
fun day.
No Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
Monday's
that's
right.
right.
closed.
Monday might be the recovery day.
Yeah. Sunday you had to do brunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
As
well,
you
we
can see
got
how
that
we
settled.
can derail very
Yeah.
quickly off of
We've
one thing.
already done the Minnesota goodbye where we've tried to say goodbye twice.
Twice.
Oh, that's all right.
So-
I'm used to the Midwest politeness.
Yeah,
I'm
the
good. I'm good.
third is usually the charm, but sometimes
Yes.
it goes on even longer than that. But
Somebody slapped
Do
their
you
knees
want me
and
to
go,
Irish
"Welp."
goodbye and just hit end?
just turn my screen.
These fucking ladies with their oysters.
Well, yes, Diane, it was lovely talking with you.
Lovely.
I just gave you a
Same.
follow on Instagram so I can
Thanks,
see
man.
all the lovely artwork that you
Mhm.
guys have at your
Thanks.
shop. If you want to give the name of your shop so
Yeah,
people
give a
can know
little
that
plug
it's a
for your
great place
shop.
to go.
For Pittsburgh, it's called Pittsburgh Tattoo Company, and we are located in downtown Pittsburgh on Smithfield Street.
10 years
Huh.
this January.
10
10
years. We
years.
were the only ones in downtown. Now there are a few more.
Oh,
Yeah,
So,
trendsetters.
still the best, I'm sure.
OGs though. OGs.
Yeah,
Oh,
we are.
geez.
We're
Awesome.
OGs for sure. Bold
Yeah.
will hold.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it.
All right, great.
All right.
Thank
well,
you.
Thanks, Diane. Have a great
Thanks,
night.
ladies.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Okay. Oh, she was fun.
She was
Yeah.
delightful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Next week, we will be releasing a sideshow episode that we won't even be recording for another 2 weeks on August 12th. So, especially with the way this crazy world is going, we have no idea what we'll be talking about, but I'm sure it will involve some swears.
Mhm.
So, thank you again so much for coming and listening to us, and have a great night or day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues.
Nailed it.